Hello and welcome to this video tutorial. During this tutorial I'm going to be explaining the differences between the get and post methods which you can use to transfer data between two different web pages. Okay, so first of all I'm going to assume that you do know a little bit of HTML and that you've actually been looking at certain bits of example code at least before this tutorial. So I'm going to first of all just start off with my basic HTML page, which I'll write out here. Okay, so we've got just a basic HTML layout there. Okay, I'm just going to quickly save this. I'll save it as transfer.html. In fact, no, I'm going to save this as a PHP file instead, because we'll do all the processing in one file, just to make things a little bit simpler. Okay, so save that. Okay, so the next step I'm just going to take is just to quickly make up a very, very basic form. Again, I'm going to assume that you guys have at least looked at forms slightly. Basically, to start off with a form, it's very simple. You start off with the form tags, as that is how HTML works. It all works with tags. So you've got the start and end form tag. I'm just going to have just one input. I'm going to call the input name. It's going to be where you can input your name. So we'll just have some text name there, just so the user knows what to do. I'm going to have an input field, which is specified by using the word input. The type, which we want to be text, so the user can see what they're writing and there's nothing specific to that field. We'll give it a name, an appropriate one, such as name will do the job, and that's everything we need actually at the moment, so we'll just end that with a greater than sign. And now just one last thing that we do need is some way for the user to submit the form to our PHP script. So this is done with another type of input, but this time the type is a submit, and this will come in the form of a button. I'm going to give this the name of submitted, and in that one. Okay, so if we just load this page up, we should just have a very basic form. Bear with me 1 second. I've saved this to the wrong location. I will cut back once I've resaved it into a suitable location. As we're back, sorry about that, I just had to move it into my local web server because we're using a PHP page to process the data. I had to move it onto a server that could use PHP. So sorry about that. So we've just got a very, very basic form here so far. Nothing too difficult there. So there is 1 or 2 changes we do have to make to the code before we can start with the PHP side of things, which is we're not actually telling the form where we want it to send the data or how we want it to send it yet, which is what we're going to do now. So the first thing that we need to do is the action. Now, the action is where you want to send the data, so it's the receiving page. Now in this case we're going to actually loop round and send it back to this same page purely for introductory purposes, but you could send this page off to some sort of login script or something like that, which would process the data that's been sent, match it up with a database maybe, and then send back a value as to whether the user can log in or not. So the next thing that we need to show is how we actually want the data to be sent. Now this is what this video is all about. And there's 2 methods which you can use to send data. They are get and get and post. So get, they use very different methods of sending. Get uses the URL in the top of the browser window, and post will send it in the background without the user being able to see any of the content being sent. So They both have their different uses. Post is obviously more secure as the user can't see any of the data, but get can be very useful when sending useless or unimportant information to various different objects or items or pages. So you won't use it very often to start off with, but as you just start to develop more and more advanced applications, the get method will become very useful. So the way that we tell the computer how we want to send the data is through the method. And for this example, I'll just use post just to show you what that looks like. So we'll just save that. So it'll look exactly the same on here. It's not changed at all. So now, just at the top of our page, I'm just going to put some PHP tags. So we can actually start to process some of this data. First of all, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure that if we're at this point, if we're going to run this PHP, then we want to actually make sure that the form has been submitted. As we're using the same page, we don't want the PHP code to run if the information's not yet been submitted. So we're just going to run a basic if statement, and we're going to say if is set post, which is how we're sending it, and I'm going to check for this button here, which has the name of submitted. So we're just going to put submitted in there. So we're saying if the variable submitted being sent by post is set, then we want to run the code that's within these curly braces. And that code is going to quite simply do the following. It's going to create a local variable called name, and it's just going to get the data that's been sent to us, just like that. And then we're just going to echo that back out to the user. Don't know what we're doing. There we go. Very simple. So, if we just go back and refresh, there we go. You won't see anything yet because we've not actually clicked submit yet. So this code here isn't running. It's like it's not there at all. So if we enter a name, we'll enter, I don't know, Bob. That's a very unique name, isn't it? And then we'll click on submit, and it'll go, your name is Bob. Now as you can tell up here, look, there's no way of us possibly knowing that any data has been transferred whatsoever, or what data that is that's been sent. We can't know. We don't know. We can't see anything. That's where get comes in. So if we change these over to get quickly, as opposed to the post, like so, and we go back and we refresh, I'll just reload, there we go. Okay, now if I send the same name, so we'll use Bob again, and we'll click submit, and it'll go, come on, going, your name is Bob. But this time there's something different that's happened. Up here, where you've got index.php, you've now got a question mark, which is get's method of saying to the browser, look, now, after this question mark, I'm going to give you some data that's been sent. I'm going to give you a bit of information. I'm going to tell you what that information is called. So it's going to say, right, we've got a name, and that name is equal to Bob. That's one variable. Now we're going to use ampersand, which means I've got another one now. I've got something else that I want to tell you. We've also got submitted, which is equal to submit. So what it's doing is it's sent all of that, and our script has gone, right, if set the get submitted. Well, we know that submitted here is equal to submit, which means therefore it's been set to a value. So we can run this code. We're fine to run this code. Now it's going to do the local variable name is going to equal the get variable name, so the data that's actually been sent. So it's going to go to here, it's going to go to the get method, which is up here in the URL, and it's going to look for name. Ah, there's name, I found it. Yep, okay, what does that equal? Oh, that equals Bob. Not a problem. Right, so we're going to take Bob, and we're going to store it in there. No problem. Then all we're going to do is just going to print it out to the screen, your name is, and then obviously we'll replace in there what the name is, which is Bob. Which is how we get your name is Bob. Thank you very much for watching this video tutorial. If you can think of anything else that you would like me to make a video tutorial about, then please comment down below, and I'll see you next time. Thank you, bye.